Hey, welcome to the accountability call. Number 68. Yes. Yeah, we're here to hold each other accountable to the things that we don't want to do. We do got to do, adulting, lifing, business, parenting, all the things. Today we're going to be talking about knowing when to give up, honey, when to throw in the towel, when to just be like, I'm finished. And listen, we're not no quitters. Okay. Let's be clear. We're not no quitters. But we are going to talk about like when to know that it's time to just pivot and go on, move on to the next thing. How you ladies feeling today?
Feeling better in my spirit, which is good.
It's Monday. Jesus, it's Monday. I'm alive. I'm here. And sometimes that's all you got.
Yep.
Listen, for sure. Did y'all learn anything last week that you want to share? Any revelations? Hey y'all, thanks for joining. Drop a hey girl, hey, or something in the chat so we know who is here. Something you learned last week, like a revelation. My revelation comes with the topic today.
Yeah, my message comes with the topic today.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it was a post that said, sending love to everyone who is just tired. Life is a lot, and sometimes the answer to it all is to just be still and silent for a while. Give yourself space and grace, whether it's decision fatigue, information fatigue, anxiety fatigue, routine fatigue, getting your life back together fatigue, career fatigue, social fatigue, financial fatigue, or physical fatigue. Take a moment to breathe and recharge. You deserve it. And then the follow-up was another post that said, nothing is ever wasted, be it time, energy, love, partnership. No matter how it ended, that experience was necessary. While it may have left you disappointed, frustrated, sad, intentionally look for the lesson, the beauty, and give thanks for the new sense of awareness you now have. Let it go.
Amen and Ashe.
Ashe.
I will say, that is very, very poignant at where I am in my life right now, because I have a lot of fatigue. Okay. Like I've been simmering in fatigue. And so I want to talk about knowing when to give up, because being someone who is very goal driven, right? Being someone who's used to achieving her goals, right? And like literally being unwavering throughout the majority of our life, it's very hard to give up, right? To stop, to pivot on something that I may have set for myself. So we have decided to give up on our real estate property in Chicago. Now, mind you, we bought this property in 2022 with the goal of it being the first of 5 properties that we wanted to purchase in order to replace my income, right? And, we signed up for a program. We did a course. I feel like, I had an exceptional credit. We set up all kind of ways to make sure we did this correctly. And a lot of the things that we would have hoped to happen in this journey are not working out, right? Have not worked out. We've learned a lot. But on Thursday, we were at, and it's connected us to some people, right? It has expanded our network significantly to people who are successful in this, right? And I still believe that real estate is a very successful asset to have, right? It's something that you should do. But we were talking to a friend of ours on Thursday who is, he's been in the game for 10, 12, more years, has at least 10 properties here in Philly, owns a property in Costa Rica, owns a property in Florida, knows all sides of the real estate industry. And the goal of our meeting was to figure out, like, can we make this property profitable? Like, how can we do it? And the way he was sharing, like, you could do this, you could do that, we got to do this, you got to do that. The whole conversation was feeling like amazing ideas, but my internal body was feeling like heavy. I was feeling heavy. I was feeling tense. I was feeling like at one point, I literally wanted to cry. Right? Because the things that he was sharing with us were valid. They were possible. They were things to do. But my spirit is weary. Right? And I'm just like, in order to do this, it's going to take a lot of me. It's going to take a lot of my energy. And there's so many other goals on the table right now. Right? There's so many things that are urgent on the table right now. So we came home. And the next day I was just talking to Tawana. I was just like, I gotta like process, like, what are the next steps? Like, what are the next steps? And I was sitting on the couch and I did just start crying. I was just like, I just cannot. And my husband came over to me and he was like, I feel like we're doing all this so we could save everybody else. Right? We want to make sure that the lenders get paid. We want to make sure that our team gets paid. We want to make sure, all of these things that, we're able to pay back, what we owe our family. We want to make sure everybody else is saved. And he was like, we need to save ourselves. Right? We need to focus on what is best for us. Forget what's going to be best for everybody else. And so when he suggested, like, just move forward with giving up, like, just let's just stop. Let's just stop and move on. Right? And this is not the only thing that we're giving up on this year. It's like, in addition to that, we're not going to try to move this year. It's too much. It's too much. And when I tell you the level of lightness in my spirit, it was like a cloud lifted. I felt like so light. And I was like, that's when it's time to give up. Mm-hmm. When the idea of stopping literally feels freeing to you, like it feels like, oh my God, I feel free. And I remember Z telling me about when she decided to leave her last relationship. And like when she said it, it was like the freedom. Like I took one step forward, but I feel free in my spirit. Just the thought of letting go makes me feel free. That's when it's time to give up. That's when it's time to let it go. That's when it's time to throw in a towel, because your body knows, your spirit knows what's best. And sometimes we will try to force the circle into the square and just keep pushing because we said we was going to put it in there. And I'm like, no, that's when for me, it's time to go. What are y'all thoughts? What allows y'all to know, like, yeah, it's time to give up?
It's crazy that this is even the topic for today, because I literally just had this conversation with my boyfriend last night. Like, sometimes it's hard to keep going. Like, it makes you want to give up, right? So the short answer is your answer. Like that for me is when it's time to give up. When you say something and it frees you, it like feels like the world is lifted off your shoulders, then then like that's it. That means you've given it your all. You have nothing else to give. But on the flip side, like if you're not quite there yet, right? So I was talking about giving up last night because entrepreneurship, baby, it's ghetto. It is so hard. It is so hard. And in our conversation, the first thing that he said was, reframe what you're doing, because you are talking about giving up when really it's just a pivot, right? And you feel guilty because you think you're giving up, but you're not giving up. You're really just going in a new direction. It doesn't mean that you can't pick it up again. Doesn't mean you can't come back to it. It's just that right now in this season, you may need to go in a different direction. And he talked about just being mindful to almost like check the stories you're telling yourself. Because he was like, honestly, you said this every month. And look at you. Every month you make it through. Every month you find
you have survived every time.
Every single month. He was just like, So just keep in mind that you are making progress, that you are doing the things. And that just gave me a shift of perspective because number one, he's right. But number two, it made me then think about, and this came up in my little ChatGPT prompt last week, celebrating all the wins. Like at the end of the year, I remember celebrating, really, because I finally did my taxes, knowing how much money I had made in my business.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of haphazard, right? Like I had like a small contract here and then a lot of individual kind of one-off contracts. But when I look at this year, like I have a 14-month contract that is guaranteed. That wasn't there last year. So all of the haphazard things or the contracts that was there last year that are still here this year that were kind of all over the place, they're still here. But on top of that, I have, a 14-month contract. And so being mindful to look at the progress that you are actually making, like the forward steps, not even just saying what you've done, but it is one step in front of the other, and you have moved forward. I needed to give a little bit more space in recognizing that and being like, girl, you've already laid out something. You want to quit when you got 14 months of income coming, right? Now, granted, it ain't all the income that I need, right, but there is a guaranteed 14 months of income that you didn't have last year. And so I needed to shift my energy because I'm not in this season and in this instance, I'm not in a space where I'm ready to give up yet. Because I don't, even though I do feel tired, when I think about quitting, immediately I'm like, nah, that ain't it. Like I haven't gotten to that place where if I make the statement and say, you know what, I think it's time for, because actually what happened last week, there was a potential for a job. And baby, when I tell you the idea of just knowing the check is coming, I was like, my God, I might just have to go ahead and do that. And of course, I mean, that didn't work out, but there's some other things at play that just made me feel that gave me a sense of like relief of just being like, wow, what if you did have a steady check that was coming in every single month, every bi-weekly, whatever the cadence is. And so I do want to move towards that energy, however it fulfills itself. Like this idea of steady income is the energy that I want to move towards. And I'm open to however the universe presents it to me, whether it is in the form of a job or the form of another contract, what have you. But I'm not at a place yet where I'm ready to give up because to your point, that moment you make the decision, not even make the decision, you make the statement. Because sometimes you're just saying it just like as an alternative, like, I'm gonna just quit. And then if you say that and the energy lifts, your spirit lifts, you feel lighter, then that is absolutely a time for you to give up. But if you're not at that space, think about pivoting, think about, celebrating or acknowledging and celebrating the forward progress that you have made, and figure out what energy you want to move towards.
I love it. Yes. Eve.
As someone who also does real estate, aside from other business, I've at this point in the 5-6 official years of like actually real estate investing, putting skin in the game, have lost like about $40,000-$50,000. Some of which we'll be taking some people to court for, very expeditiously, but yes is what comes with the game and everything that as people tell you, but that's not really what you want to hear. I remember the first time when I realized that I wasn't going to get a property specifically in Atlanta, the person who was like the lender actually for that, she was just like, love is not a no, it's just a not yet. So sometimes I'm wondering, am I giving up or is this a no, not yet? Because when I think about giving up, I feel like I'm not going to ever revisit this again. It's almost like when you decide like, okay, I'm going to try something new and decide that you don't like it. So, you're never going to do it again. That like try eating it again. That's what the give up feels to me. And sometimes I'm wondering if some of the decisions that I make around some things is truly like a give up. I tried it. No one can say that I didn't. I learned a lot. I know that this is not for me. Or do I need to take a step back and revisit a few things and like try again later, knowing that I have all this knowledge now? So,
well, for the things that you do have given up on, how did you know that you should give up on it?
when I realized that, quite honestly, when I realized that the same amount of like integrity that I'm giving towards something is not what I was receiving in the midst of doing it. Because many of the times, like when I'm doing things specifically to like move the needle for my life, for myself, and for my business, of course, you are working with other people and just taking, just like managing my expectations around the integrity of how I want to go about making my livelihood and the people that I want to work with. It really is like a integrity thing that helps me to realize that I need to take a step back. Um, and yeah, that comes with a lot of emotions. That comes with a lot of like sitting with like the expectations that I had. Me understanding like, did I really qualify the right people to work with me? Was I really in the right space to go through this? That's what comes to mind for me when it comes time to actually like give something up. Usually because of like parties that I'm like working with. Yeah.
One other thing that came up for me as you guys was talking, thinking about giving up is like releasing, honestly, the expectation of a particular result that you had.
Yep.
And it frees up space for it to be what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean that, what you desired won't be. It's just that you are now allowing things to flow to get you there. And that can be a relationship, that could be a business, that can be an opportunity. Once you kind of release the hold that you have on the thing, it then frees up your energy to focus on the things that you need to be focusing on. And again, allow everything else to just flow into a place where it's supposed to be. So it's interesting because, I know when I think about you and this real estate property and just how much of the brain space that it's taken up, it's like, honestly, we don't know how it's going to end up, but it gives you the freedom to focus on the other things that you need to be focusing on by releasing it. The same thing with the move, like, by you now being able to pivot and focus on, renovations or whatever, like, who knows what that then frees up, because now you're focusing on the thing that you need to be focusing on. Mm-hmm. Who knows how, you say, okay, well, we're going to wait to move. Well, shit, what if you end up renovating the property and renting it out quickly? Like, now you got to move.
Right, now you got to move, yeah.
To put in the right direction because you were holding on to something else. Yeah. So letting it go, like, really just frees you up so that you can focus on the right things. And not be so beholden, like, this thing has to happen. It's like, all right, well, that's going to be whatever it's going to be. I'm letting that go and I'm going to pivot my attention and I'm going to focus over here and then allow everything else to just fall and shift where it's supposed to be naturally. So the idea of giving up, I think we also, hey, Miss Free. Mama's room. Hopefully it is a freeing thing. Because for us, type A's, overachievers, we don't give up. We don't give up. We don't quit. We're relentless. And so sometimes it's hard to let go because we feel like we're doing the wrong thing, like we're abandoning a goal. But that's really not what's happening. It's like we're actually allowing the universe, God, whoever, to give us what it's supposed to be as opposed to what we think it's supposed to be in our head.
Listen.
This is the plan A. Is the plan A, like there is no other plan B type of mentality. I think that's what usually gets me stuck, is that like, no, this has to work. Like there is no other option. But I feel like I'm about to mix up a bunch of stuff. Go ahead, Mama.
I was thinking, because you were talking about plan A, and it's definitely that. I think the focus should be on the outcome. Girl, I thought you was gonna stay up there. Okay, come on, sit down. The focus should be on just the overall outcome, not the overall outcome that we want or the transformation that we want in the end. And I know for me, I am focused on the plan. Right. So eventually I will have properties that will be replacing my income. The plan is for this property to start that, right? And the plan is not working. And so we're forcing the plan. You know how I would always tell Eve, the plan is working, right? Your plan worked. Like, that didn't look like you thought it was going to look, but the plan worked. It is working. One of the things we did, Z and I did a ChatGPT prompt that basically is a call to your higher self, right? It's gathering you to remember who you are and just calling out the things that you naturally do in order to self-sabotage. And this is so important because I think one of the things when it comes to not being able to give up is letting go of the control, right? And so what Chat told me was, he said, this is one of my top negative patterns, right? That keeps me stuck. It says control as an illusion of safety. You grip control because you equate surrender with chaos and loss. But control has not kept you safe. It has drained you. When you surrendered, you saw life flow. That was not a fluke. That was the truth. Flow is the principle. Control is the fluke. Okay. So as we're thinking about when to let go, notice whether things feel in flow, right? And even if it's hard, it can still feel in flow with who you are, where you're going, what you need in that moment. And know that flow is the principle that you're leaning on with regard to the goals that you're going after, not the plan, not the expectations, like Z was saying. Like, let go of the control, because control is the fluke and flow is the principle, baby. Let me tell you.
Yep. Because we get so attached to that outcome, and then sometimes a little bit the plan, we allow it to affect like our effort, our motivation, our attitudes, our energies. And that's where the flow needs to always be strong. Like, that to me is the flow. Like, the flow of my energy, my attitude, my work ethic, that should be unwavering. The how to and the plan and the actual outcome, that's all variable. The 1+1 need to be strong, like however you get to the one, whatever. However you get to like the addition or whatever the output is can be whatever. But I think you saying that remind me of like my one of my most favorite quotes. I have it on my bingo vision board that Jasmine and the girls ended up coming with, by a diarist Anisanin, I think. She said, like, when the risk to remain tight in the bud was more than the risk it took to blossom, life is a process of like becoming. And I think I need to sit with that a little bit too, with some of the decisions that I've made and the ones I will continue making, is that there's a lot that comes with blossoming, but there's a certain type of ease that should come with wanting to like step out, knowing that there still be risk, but you feel comfortable with that risk. So even when you decide to like let something go, letting go is also a part of you blossoming as well. That I'm realizing.
I heard another quote this weekend that said, "The reason if I desire something, it is because my future self already has it."
Yes.
And that was dope to me, because I realized my negative pattern that came up is fear-based decision making. And fear-based for me is rooted in the fear of loss, or the fear of failure, the fear of rejection. And so a lot of times I'm doing something because I fear that I won't get the end result that I desire. Right. So you're holding on to this property because you're like, if I don't hold on to this property, then how am I going to own 5 properties? And it's like, no, you have to trust that you are going to own 5 properties, because the reason you desire it is because your future self already has it. And so just being in the space of, to your point, letting go of the plan and realizing like it's going to happen. It may not happen the way I initially thought that it would. But it is absolutely going to happen, allows you to, release and let go of things, and then focus on, what the priority is. Focus on your energy, focus on taking action steps in in places where you can control it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But yeah, if you want it, it's because your future self already has it. So like,
This is
rest in.
good, child. Woo, this is good. This is good. And it makes you reflect on the things you wanted before and looking at your future self as today.
Got it.
Got it.
Got it.
Got it.
Yep.
Oh, that is so good. So if you're joining us, drop a hey girl, hey, or something in the chat. Let us know, how do you know when it's time to give up? Like, how do you know when it's time to just stop, pivot, shift, do the things? We're going to jump into these goals. How y'all do last week with the goals?
Mm-hmm.
Tell you, not the one or the two was done, okay? I got 1, 2. Actually, no, the 1 and the 2 was done. That's it. And the 2, exactly, free. The 2 was a part of 1, so it wasn't a whole one that was done. All I did was send the itinerary to my contact in Zimbabwe to kind of finalize our trip, Vale. And I followed up. I did my It's Deep in the Travel follow-up calls, which I'm really excited about. There's a lot of client potential in the works. I'm just like, okay, I say you, Lord. So we're going to, get those secured. But everything else, I ain't do none of that. I ain't do the budget review. I ain't do the posting every day. I didn't book no accommodations. I was not eating and sleeping like a survivor. I was eating, but I wasn't sleeping like a survivor. And I didn't create a schedule near email.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a similar boat. I did do some client work. I took my client meetings, but the things that I wrote down that I said I was going to do, I didn't do. Budget review did not happen. Did not work on my workbook. Marketing channels for the new business, I created them, but did I execute them? No, I did not. Cooking, I was still cooking, but that baby 75 strong fell off last week. If I had one day, this is the first time in this whole series where I haven't been consistent. But
and what day you on?
I don't even know, because I think I got about I got about 15 more days.
Oh, okay. Girl, but we ain't giving up. Hop back on it.
We not. I'm getting back on it today. I'm doing something today. But to really kick things back into play. But yeah, I did it like almost 7 days straight. I ain't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. So yeah, last week was kind of a bust.
Ooh, I'm basically on the same boat as y'all. I just need a whole redo of last week. I went dancing one time. I've been drinking my teas, language stuff. Sleeping is still very so-so. Prayer and libations, I've been keeping up with that. I have been following up with people about contracts and stuff like that. And getting referrals, waiting for folks to get back to me on some things. One contract got switched into potential like a shorter time, like instead of a 12-month, into like a 3-month like sprint of work, like of doing research for the LA fires and helping create like a service and some a service to help provide people support with that. So maybe we'll see how that goes. Finding a tenant expeditiously. I followed up with some people, but I didn't do as much as I should have. And that's about it. So I need to do a whole redo of last week. Also, based on our call, Nezzy and Z, when we had our accountability call, I was gonna like redo some of my services in my business over the weekend, but we're gonna do that this week.
I'm sending you a message now. In our group chat, because for some reason something just came in my spirit. Said this 3-month contract is a pilot for your future service. Because we were talking about speed.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about get to the result quick. So this is a pilot of that's what that looks like a service that you provide. Like, okay, we're gonna get this done in 3 months.
Bet.
Right.
Like it.
Yes. Okay. So what are the goals for this week? First of all, can we talk about how, Mother is doing the things on the heads? Okay, like y'all see this part?
Go ahead, girl.
Look.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Picked her hairstyle. When I tell you, it took me a while to figure out how to do the swoops and the swoops and the swoops.
The parting is the hard part.
You did it. God, you did it. So good.
I was swooping in the party. Like, okay.
Now she's looking cute.
All right. It's a cute girl.
Mm-hmm.
I got some moon buns. She wanted 2 braids in her face, in her eye. She said, my mama, it's not far enough in my eye. I said, it is, girl. You don't see it in your eye. You got to be able to see it school. Like,
I'm done.
So yes, for this week, I need to do everything I didn't do last week.
Basically.
Like, ain't nothing changed other than no, it's all the same. It actually is all the same. Budget review, book accommodations for Zimbabwe, eat, sleep like a survivor, client follow-up calls, prospect follow-up calls, posting. I ain't posting a whole week. I'm with you, Z. I was posting. You and me, you dropped off 75 strong. I dropped off posting. Okay. And create and schedule an email to my list is the other thing that I need to do. So if you're joining us, hey. Yeah, so what do y'all need to do this week to move the needle in business or life? You know, we usually set 3 to 5 goals. At least one of them got to be self-care. So that we can, you know, take care of ourselves while we're taking care of these things or these people, in my case. And then we come up with a word for the week. Last week, my word was focus. I feel like I was focused in the blogger, but obviously I was not focused on things on this list. Blow. Now I was focused. Girl, what is this blow? Oh Lord, blow hard, boo boo. I know. Okay, this is why this baby is home, y'all, and the other one at school. Oh Lord, the sniffles. So what's on y'all's schedule? Z's word was action and Eve's word was suddenly. Listen, suddenly was happening for you last week.
You had a suddenly week last week, baby.
You had a suddenly week.
We had a few moments where suddenly was popping off in the chat. So that was a good one, Eve. Yeah. Let's celebrate that. Let's take a little moment.
Yes.
There were a few suddenlies that I recall. Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
I love y'all.
I forgot that's where it came from.
Yep.
Yeah. That was good. That was good.
That was good, honey.
Ooh, listen, I'm going back to exceed me, Jesus, because I need some exceeding in my life right now. Exceed is going to be my word, and it is around my expectations of results, right? Just like I'm going to do the work, and I trust that the results will exceed what I expected them to be. I'm just going to focus on doing the work. That's all I can do. Don't worry about it. But I'm doing it with the expectation of, exceeded results.
Yep.
What's your goals, Lee?
I got my client task, budget review, digital offering, marketing channels, and cooking and 75 strong workouts. Honestly, like this is what I'm always working on. I decided that I wasn't going to, I'm not seeking any new clients. My goal is to go deeper with the clients that I already have. I'll go deeper and wider with the clients I already have.
I am proud of you. I am proud of you.
Let's go.
Because they want everything you got already.
They already want everything I got. Okay, listen, I got some onboarding calls. I work for a whole tech company. I work for a whole app now.
Yes.
So I'm like, let me just build that out a little further because they want everything. Let me give them some more. So these will be my goals, honestly, every week. And I think the digital workbook is important because as I'm working for my clients, I need to be working for myself too. I need to make sure that I know that I'm one of my clients. Budget review needs to be a consistent thing that's happening. You see, I'm on the phone, right? She's standing outside yelling "mother" as if I'm not in the middle of talking.
They don't care.
They don't. They do not, because school is out today. So
yep.
it's a holiday. Getting those marketing channels together and cooking and eating like that. These are the things that I need to be doing all year long. There will be various tasks that go up under each of them, but every week I need to touch all of those things. So, those will probably be my goals every single week to some extent.
Eve.
I have on here. I'm gonna continue dancing, my language loving activities, continuously working on sleeping, getting good sleep, good quality sleep, prayer and libations, that's self-care, following up with at least 2 potential contracts and carrying 3 more referrals. That's like every week. Closing on something this week. Yes, suddenly. I'm gonna redo my services. I have 2 options here that Z and Nezzy know about. Continue trying to find a tenant expeditiously. I'm gonna do some work on that today. And then I'm actually gonna submit my taxes for both my LLCs. That will be done today. I've been up since 6:30 EST. Getting that done. I'll be done in an hour. Finish. But yeah, we calling in next 100K plus contract, easing getting work done for the property, another property on my next flight, bringing up hard stuff and therapy, debt cancellation. Also got the student loans deferred. Thank you. Appreciate it. Cause everything's crazy right now with student loans. Yeah, that's it.
I feel it. I don't know why. I don't know what my word is for the week, but I feel like yours need to be suddenly again. Okay. Like,
oh no, it's definitely going to be suddenly again. I already wrote it down. I was like, suddenly again.
The level of the way that joint worked out last week.
Yep. I want to keep it. And mind you, it was suddenly in a lot of things. It was suddenly in news.
You suddenly jumped in my week.
Yeah, right. We needed it. We needed it.
Girl.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be specific. Suddenly in good news, suddenly in like, even if not so good news comes, so we can suddenly manage ourselves and stay in a place of like peace, unwavering peace. Like, just, yes, suddenly good vibes, all of it. Everything suddenly.
I think my word for this week, I don't know if this is the word that I want, but this is the energy I want to be in. Oh, bless you, bless you. I'm like, you okay? She thought,
Yes, she not.
It's intuition, right?
Come on.
I've had this word a couple of times over the last year because moving in my intuition is not my norm. But the way ChatGPT gathered me and told me that I need to move into intuition, I need to move in intuition over perfection because flow is my birthright. And I said, yay and amen. Okay, so I feel like my word for this week is going to be intuition because of that, and it's just a reminder for me to turn my brain off and start listening to my heart, right? Listen to my energy, tapping into my body, like, and just turn the volume on my brain down because I am a intellectual, I am an academic, and baby, I will try to problem solve in my head so fast. But even like there are some conversations that my intuition is telling me to have that my brain has been telling me or is telling me like, no, it's not necessary. Don't worry about it. But I'm like, I'm about to have them because my intuition is telling me like these people need to hear this, right? So yeah, I'm leaning into intuition this week.
Let's go.
And we're gonna let her guide us and see what she creates. Okay.
I like it.
Yes.
Intuition exceeds suddenly. Very good. Intuition exceeds suddenly. I like it.
If you're watching, if you're here now, drop your word for the week in the chat. If you're watching the replay, drop your word for the week in the comments. something that you're going to be able to stand on all week to get your goals accomplished. Okay. The things. Well, that's it. That's all, honey. I don't even know how we ended up finishing at 11 because we didn't start till 10 something.
Right.
We didn't hit all the points. That's what we didn't do last week.
Right. That's why we had on the review last week and we had to just put it back on there for this week. So that was 5 minutes.
Yep. So, all right, y'all. Enjoy. We'll see you next Monday. Bye.
Bye.